This is going to be a review of the Galaxy Note 8, and I'm actually going to split this up into two parts. I'm going to focus on the highlights and I'm going to focus on the detriments of the phone. I have made two different videos of the Note 8 in a review, and both of those videos were even long for my standards anyhow. I figured no one's going to sit and listen to me go on and on and on in one setting for so long. So instead I decided to go ahead and split it up into two parts. Let's go ahead and focus on the detriments, because there aren't many, but I want to cover them. First thing I want to talk about as a detriment is the Bixby button. Now, when it's disabled, it's great because it doesn't get in the way, and the only way that you can access Bixby from there is if you swipe over to the left. Now, if you're not familiar with what Bixby is, I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but the idea is that it's Samsung's artificial intelligence, it's AI, so it basically tries to suggest things for you based on your phone's usage and lumps it all in various tiles into one application. I personally don't think it's very useful myself, and especially the button here. Let me swipe back out of it and go back to the home screen. The button here on the left, if you have it enabled, you're going to accidentally press this button. And the only reason why it switched to that, because that's from the power button. So let me go ahead and get rid of that. Trust me, the Bixby button did not do that. See, when I press it, nothing happens. And if you have it enabled, Bixby's going to pop up. You're going to accidentally press this button, I guarantee you, and you're going to get frustrated because here comes Bixby, and you didn't call up Bixby at all. Perhaps one day Bixby is going to be something very relevant, very useful. Perhaps it is now, I don't know, but ever since it first came out a little over a year ago, when Samsung came out with the S8 and S8 Plus, along came Bixby with it. It wasn't quite ready yet, and this was going back to April of 2017, I believe. So now, for all I know, it may be, full status and ready to go, and it's just the greatest thing on earth. But since I didn't think it was very useful last year, I'm not missing it today, and the button itself is very frustrating. If you have it disabled, then hey, you know what? You just forget about it. You cannot remap it. You cannot assign a button to any other application or function on the phone. So to me, the Bixby button and Bixby itself is a detriment. I'm sure perhaps maybe in the future, once the Note 9 comes up, perhaps there's going to be an update to Bixby. Maybe it'll be useful. But until then, or if ever for that matter, I see it as more of a detriment. All right, another detriment of this phone, and this may even be just more of like something that I don't even think is very relevant, is this edge panel here. And here you see it moving up and down. That's that little tab there. Now, you might find it useful. What it is basically a second screen. And you've got various options here. So as you see, I've got the weather, but then again, this is redundant because you can already get the weather. You can see that on the main screen there. You've got a ruler, a compass, and a flashlight. I guess that's useful if you need a ruler or if you need a compass, if you need to figure out which direction you're going. The flashlight you can also access from the notification bar, so maybe that's a little bit redundant. You can also call up the apps that you use frequently, but again, it may be redundant because you can do the same thing either from your home screens or you can do it from the app tray. There's a settings option here, and you can go through and you can select different panels. You can also download. I haven't downloaded anything because I just haven't found the edge panels very useful or relevant to me. Taking it back to the home screen here, I think it's just something for me. I would rather have it turned off. I don't have it turned off right now just because I'm showing you that it exists. It's one of the things that go along with having these edge-to-edge screens on the Samsung phones. You may find it useful. I think it's something more of a detriment or even just something neutral, something that you would just forget about. Here's another detriment of this phone, and this actually, I think, is also a highlight of this phone. So this one's going to vary. Now, that's the size of this phone. This phone is huge, and now I think it's something that's more of a highlight in the long run because of its size, because it's very easy to read, because it has one of the best screens, if not the best screen on the market right now, as far as all smartphones go, in my opinion. But it can be a detriment in that it's big, and because of that 2:1 ish ratio, length to width, this phone being 6.3 inches just in the screen size, let alone the bezels, is just big. It is a big phone. Now, it fits in a hand pretty well. If you have smaller hands, you have to make an adjustment, that's for sure. It's definitely a two-handed operating type of phone, though. It is big. But the detriment portion of this is its ease in which to use in the hand, for one. Two, to go along with the ease of use in the hand, is the fact that it is slippery. So even though it's not as bad as, say, an iPhone 10, I love that phone, but that thing is extremely slippery. This one's also pretty slippery as well. So when you combine the size and the fact that it's slippery, of course, you can get a case as well to alleviate that. And finally, its pocketability, if that's a word. So it's big, it's slippery, and then this thing does not fit in the pocket very well at all. If you are a fan of skinny jeans, I don't even know how you're going to get this thing in your pocket. The jeans I wear tend to be a little bit baggier, and even when I wear those things, I feel like when I go to sit down, I'm going to split the phone in half, and that's putting the phone in my front pocket. I wouldn't dare put the thing in my back pocket at all. Also, if I'm wearing shorts and they have loose pockets and it's shallower pockets on top of that, I always have to be aware of whether or not this thing is going to come sliding right out of my pocket, because it's so big, it takes up so much room. So that could be a detriment, even though in the long run myself I see the size of the phone overall as more of a highlight. The final detriment with this phone is the face unlock and the iris unlock. Now, the highlight of the phone is that you do have several options. You've got the PIN number unlock. You can do it that way. You can use the fingerprint sensor. That is just really quick and most reliable. Aside from the fact that the fingerprint sensor is offset behind the phone. And then you have the face unlock and you have the iris or the eye unlock. Now, the thing about the face unlock and the iris unlock, they work, but they don't always work on the first try. You have to have the phone seemingly at just the right distance and then lined up perfectly with either your face or just your eyes on your face in order for the phone to be able to unlock in that sense. And, perhaps they're more secure, but I just don't see the benefit of those two options when you can just as easily pick the phone up, find that fingerprint sensor, and the phone is opened up. There's no getting the phone in just the right spot, lining up the face or the eyes. There's no second or third try. It just works. That fingerprint sensor is great. So, again, a detriment with the face unlock, the iris unlock. They work, but not all the time. Just really, it slows you down more than anything. So you don't have to use them. And that's it. Otherwise, this phone is awesome. So I also have a video that talks about all the highlights, and that's going to be a longer video indeed. But there are many a highlight. I really love this phone, and it's probably my favorite phone on the market right now. The prices for this phone, you can find it anywhere as low as, I think I've seen as low as maybe $620 for an unlocked version. I've seen as high as $960 for a carrier version. You can find one like around $700, $750, something like that. I think, even though the phone is expensive, all these phones are expensive nowadays, I think personally you are getting a great deal if you can find it around $700 to $800 for this phone. Even though it's a year old, just about, and even though the Note 9 is coming out now on August 9th of this year, I still think you are getting a great deal with the Note 8 all the way around. So I hope this video was helpful to you. I had to chop it up here into 2 slices again, because if I had done this all in one piece, it would have been a very long video. I don't want to subject you all to that because I already do long videos as it is. But thank you very much for watching. I hope this video was helpful to you. And again, this is Keep It Simple Phone Tech.